Hi, and welcome to CyberOne Training and Certification. If you're here for a certification program, there is no exercise at the end of this segment. This video is for informational purposes only. And if you're here for training and support, but you're interested in learning more about certification, then reach out to your account manager or just shoot us an email at support@cb1security.com. Okay, so let's get started. Today we're in the issue management module, and we're going to be working on how to create findings in the management platform, and we're going to be looking at this from the vendor perspective today. So let's go ahead and get into our management platform. Okay, so here we are in the management platform, and as you can see, we're in the vendor management module in the vendors tab. And we're just going to open one of our vendor records. And here we can see, if we look at our links menu at the top, that this vendor in particular has 8 findings already tracked in their account. So these findings can be created in a couple of different manners. First of all, if you have a vendor that you've just input into your system and you want to upload or transfer existing findings, we can do that via a CSV file. And we can provide you with the template for that. Or of course we can do a system integration, whether that's with your existing security system or a procurement system. We can put all the data in via integration through API. And if you're interested in doing that, again, just contact support@cb1security.com. So then in the vendor record, you can see that we have the option to create a new finding, and that will take us into a finding record. And here you'll see that the vendor is tagged to this finding automatically. So when you create this record and then save it, and I'll just do a test. See there, we can add the finding description and recommendation. We can put the risk category in here if we want to. I'm just going to put a random one, and select the source type, if that's an audit, if that comes from a self-identified, if you found that in as you go through your assessment review, and we'll put vendor review here. We put the primary contact, who is the person on the vendor side who would be managing this finding and leading the risk mitigation effort. And then we can populate the rest of the record as needed. And then we just click save. And there you see we have a finding record created. And there, if we go back to the vendor record, we can also see that this is now an additional finding. Now we have 9 instead of 8 that have been added to the vendor record. So the other way we can do this is directly from the findings tab. It's exactly the same process. We can just create a new finding, same record. But this time, if we're doing that, then we have to tag the vendor ourselves and do that. It doesn't automatically tag the vendor from the issue management module, but we can just tag that vendor in the finding tag section, and then that will go to the record. And then the last way that we can do this is if we've completed an assessment on the vendor, we can, in the assessment results section, we can see, we can actually click create bulk findings here once we get the assessment results back. And again, here the finding that we found is highlighted, and that finding there is listed and will be created and tagged again to that vendor. And once we put this in remediation, a finding notification is automatically sent to the primary contact of the vendor requesting risk mitigation or an exception request. So that's how you create findings for vendors in the system. Again, just to recap, you can create them directly through the vendor record. You can create them through the findings tab in our platform, or if you're doing an assessment on the vendor, those findings will auto-populate when the assessment results come in, and you click create bulk findings. And then finally, if you have existing findings, you can bulk upload them via CSV, or again, we can use that API integration method. So that concludes the training for today. Thank you very much.